So, how have you been, Josh?
Mm. I'm doing fine, thanks. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that leaving DC is something I've been wanting to cover for a while. It's just, I thought the man would be the best guest to have on to talk about it.
Well, sure. I'll try to answer any questions you have or give you any background stories you'd like.
Yes. So, I'd like to start with how did you come across deciding to make the film?
Well, it kind of mirrors what I was going through at the time. I had lived in DC for 20 years. I was tired of it, getting
Okay.
less and less tolerant of city life. And so I was looking for a real escape in the middle of nowhere. I spent about 6 months looking and found a place about 2 hours west of DC in a little postage stamp town called Cape on Bridge, West Virginia,
Okay.
right out on Route 50. And it was in a development called Ritter's Hidden Valley, which only had a few full-time residents at the time. And it was a massive development out in the middle of the woods. And most of the people who were there just had temporary weekend homes. And so I was one of the few full-time residents when I moved there, and I think it was August 2011. So I had this really nice house in the middle of nowhere, and I was still working for the same company, which was based in Arlington, Virginia. And I had a lot of free time. It was just me and my cat, and so I had a bit of a background in video and audio production. I thought, well, you know, actually, what actually gave me the idea was I was sleeping with my windows open, which I could never do in DC because it was so noisy, and I'm a light sleeper.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the night, I heard this animal scream right outside the window, and I was in a dead sleep, and I didn't know what it was. It sounded like a woman screaming to me. It was
Wow.
horrible. I still don't know what it was. Yeah, it was just like froze me in bed. It was so shocking and scary. So I got up and I went online and I was looking for any sort of evidence of what it might have been. I still don't know. I think if I had to guess, I think maybe like a coyote or some sort of fox was killing a rabbit. Because I
Yeah,
think I've heard rabbits can scream when they're like in distress.
they can. My
So
mom found one like that.
okay. Yeah. So I guess that would be my best guess. So I got over it, obviously, and hoped it wouldn't happen again. But I was thinking, well, what would happen if a character like mine went out to the middle of nowhere and had a house and heard something like that? And instead of it being a one-time episode, what if things just got weirder and creepier and progressed to the point where this poor guy was genuinely persecuted and felt like he was losing his mind. And so
Yeah.
I just put a script together. I started working on the script. And then when I was reasonably happy with it, I thought, well, I'll have to look for the peripheral characters to play these people. And so I had this very creative coworker friend named Cynthia Jones, who uh, who was always up for anything creative and is a really artistic spirit. So I went back one of the times I went back to Arlington. I brought an audio recorder with me and had her do the sounds of like the spirit when you can hear the voice of the forlorn girl
Oh,
spirit
okay.
outside. I had her do that, and she had a friend too, and I asked him to do all the sheriff's lines, and it didn't turn out as well as I had hoped. And I blame myself. I think he wasn't too happy with me by the end of it because I ended up going with someone else. But it's really my fault. I, probably didn't direct him well enough, and I didn't get the performance I wanted. So I figured since it was a phone call anyway, I have an old friend up in Vermont that I've known forever, and I just gave him the script, and he doesn't consider himself an actor. So I just literally fed him the lines and said, please read it like this. Please read it like this. No, do more inflection here. And just painstakingly walked him through every single line, and I just recorded it over the phone, which worked fine since it was a phone conversation anyway.
Yeah.
And then the real challenge was getting the actress Karen, who was Claire, was the character, and I ended up putting out. There was a listserv for actors in the DC and Baltimore area. I put out um, a notice that I was looking for an actress for this part. It's amazing how many aspiring actors there are out there. I'm sure you know that. And
Hmm.
it's just the flood of responses I got. I was like, oh my God, like for
Yeah.
this little independent film that I'm doing, I can't believe how many people are rushing to be part of this. And this is back in 2012, so I offered a few $100, I guess, for the role and gas money to drive from DC to Cape and Bridge. And there were a lot of auditions. I did all the auditions over the phone, and out of, I think there were like 19 different auditions I did, there were only two actresses that I thought really nailed it. And one of them, the first one that I thought did a really good job, she was very religious and she refused to say the line, "Oh my God," which
Yeah.
was, she had to say, "Oh my God." And she said, "I won't say it." I mean, I'm no, big director, but at the same time, I was thinking, well, I'm not gonna rewrite the script just because you're too squeamish to do that. So
Yeah.
anyway, the good news is I think the very next audition was this woman from Baltimore, Karen Crichton, and she was so perfect. I just loved what she did, and she understood it completely. And um, I don't know how, if I had a daughter, I don't have any kids, but if I had a daughter, the last thing I would want is for her to say, okay, well, I'm about to drive 3 hours from Baltimore to this house in the middle of nowhere for this director who wants me to be in his film.
Absolutely.
That's just what she did. And God bless her. I mean, I'm not a psychopath and I'm certainly
No.
not dangerous, but it was very brave of her, and I would not recommend that to other actresses to put themselves in that sort of situation. But so she showed up. You know the film fairly well, don't you? You remember the scene where she pulls up and everything, and
Yeah, I do.
so that was literally filmed, like 5 minutes after she actually arrived and I had met her for the first time. So the kind of nervous awkwardness that you see between those two characters, where I'm like, oh, Claire's here. Hey, can I get a welcome hug? And all nervous. I mean, that nervousness really wasn't faked because it was an awkward situation because I was just meeting this girl and she was probably wondering what the hell she was getting into. So
Yeah.
all that awkwardness kind of came naturally to the scene. And then bless her, she literally, after we filmed the daytime scenes, which I think were only one or two, she had to just kind of like sit around my house and twiddle her thumbs and waste time until it got dark. And then we filmed. As soon as it got dark, we filmed. I just, set the clocks. I think it was like 8 o'clock at night, and I set the clocks to make it look like it was 3 in the morning. And then we filmed all that stuff of her, out the window. And I added the sounds of the stuff happening outside in post afterward, of course. But it was fun. I'm consider myself very lucky to have gotten Karen as part of that project. She was perfect.
Yeah, she really fits her character well.
Thank you. Yeah. And there was one time where I had to kind of adjust her. I think maybe she was kind of getting, maybe not. I thought maybe she was kind of getting fed up with the situation and having to wait there so long. But the scene where she's tucking herself into bed and I'm kind of rambling in the background and saying, "Oh, Claire wants to hear the weird stuff outside and bring it on." And because
Yeah.
she's not afraid, and I was being all geeky and annoying. And the original take, she had such a look of like rampant contempt and disgust on her face, and I actually had to say to her, "Look, obviously this guy is annoying, but don't make it like he repulses you so much that it's not realistic that you would have made this journey in the first place. You've got to at least show some sympathy for him.
Yeah.
He can't annoy you so much that it's unrealistic that you ever would have come to visit him. You know what I'm saying. So that I think that was the one adjustment I had to ask of her. And other than that, it was perfect.
Yeah, because I do want to say that the face she makes after you say that, it makes it look like she knows you, but she's like, really? Come on now.
Yeah, the idea was that I was calling out her OCD because her pillow had to be perfectly centered, and we're in that OCD support group. So when I mentioned, oh, Claire's got her pillow perfectly centered against the headboard, that's when it was perfectly reasonable for her to be like, oh, screw you,
Yeah.
that type thing. So that worked out fine. And then she also did fear very well, I thought, when she was at the
Yeah.
window listening to the voices or the sounds outside. She really did a good job of seeming to be genuinely afraid. And then the only reason I'm laughing is because how many actresses could you find who would be willing to lie in bed in their pajamas and have me film them, standing over them quietly as I narrate, well, Claire took two Valium and she finally was able to fall asleep. And it's a creepy scenario, I think, under any circumstances. And for this, poor actress who didn't know me to just be willing to lie in bed and have me film her and say all these weird things over her. God bless her for being such a trooper. Thank you, Karen, if you ever hear this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love her character and see the way I like to describe your film, and you might describe it differently to people, is it's a horror film with drama and romance in it. But see, I say that, but there's the character wants there to be a romance, but it doesn't really bloom. It actually goes the reverse way, and that's where the drama kicks in, I think.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm a bit older and I saw some of the reviews and some of the people on Amazon were calling me like a pathetic incel. And I didn't even know because I'm older. I didn't even know what the hell incel
I didn't
meant.
know what it meant either. I had to look it up. Not even gonna lie.
Oh, you know what it means now though, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, involuntary celibate. I'm like, well, the first thing that popped in my mind is like, are there any voluntary celibates? Like, or like I thought all celibates were involuntary. So anyway, yeah, she did a great job, and then she left that day, and then it was up to me to. I had fun with like the speeches afterward being so full of contempt with her leaving and and I think some of the, especially during this, the woke era, people were saying, how dare you say, oh, not like you even let me touch you anyway. Like, that they was considered inappropriate, but hey, it's realistic dialogue as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's the way a guy who would be, left like that would probably think. So,
Yeah, because he's really hurt, so he's just portraying that.
yeah, he's frustrated and he's lonely and this was his one hope and she kind of, dashed it. So yeah, he's frustrated. Um, so yeah,
It's
I hope that
interesting.
answered.
Oh yeah, it's just interesting to see the film progress, and it's a man who thinks he has all these friends in this group, but it turns out they don't care for him as much as he thought they did.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's an element that I didn't pick up on until after the film was done, and I saw some of the reviews saying, this guy thinks he has friends, and probably no one's even listening to his messages to the support group. And yeah, I knew the character was annoying and overeager, and I tried to make him like that, but it's an interesting addition to that story to think that he's all enthusiastic about this so-called group of friends he has back in DC, and they really don't care about him either way.
Hmm.
And or at least they don't care about him to the extent that he would like. And there's a reference to that in that angry speech that Mark gives toward the end, where he says, like, God forbid the group should come out and visit me, like not like you all wouldn't have a place to stay. Um, that's further evidence that no one likes him enough to want to spend that kind of time with him, even in that kind of environment. So,
No, it's like a guy they know, but they're like, well, don't hang out with him. He's not a bad guy, but he's kind of annoying.
Yeah, right. We'd rather stay in DC and have fun than go
Yeah,
out and hang the park. Sure,
he's like the
sure.
black sheep in the group or something.
I'd love to be able to play, like a Pitt or a George Clooney that was really popular and everyone wanted to be around, but I had to stick with what I know.
Yeah, see, and I think it adds so much good elements to the film because if there's different
It
ways you can
works.
watch it. You can see you can have sympathy for the character and like the character, or you
Hmm.
can think that he's an absolute uh butthole that just he's annoying. He's just whiny.
Yeah, whiny and annoying. Yep, that's definitely him. And these people don't realize that their anger, just drives people away further. When you act all petulant about people not wanting to hang out with you, it certainly doesn't help your cause.
No, it doesn't
So,
at all.
but there's enough people like that out there that I figured, yeah, everyone knows someone like Mark. Um,
Oh yeah,
there's probably a lot of me in Mark. I'm not that bad, but yeah, there's certainly similarities.
yeah,
And yeah, so people can relate. Everyone's got those elements within themselves, the feelings of rejection and feeling hurt and maybe, wanting to let people have it and whine and complain about not being liked enough, but most people, know enough to keep it to themselves.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And another interesting thing about the film is I'm actually originally from West Virginia, and that's where I first watched it.
Yeah.
So
Whereabouts?
I thought that was really cool. I'm from Berkeley Springs. I don't know if you ever heard of that area.
It sounds familiar. Where I was at was in the northeastern part of West Virginia. Is that close to where you were? Like Augusta?
Like,
Anywhere close to that?
no, I was in the Panhandle.
You were in the Panhandle?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it's pretty
I
close to
thought
where
that's
I
what you
was.
meant. It's just well, I haven't traveled much in West Virginia, although I lived there. Funny enough, because I was closer to like Maryland and Virginia or Pennsylvania.
Were you close to Romney at all?
I believe so. I remember seeing that somewhere on the Google
Okay.
Maps around me.
So when you say Panhandle, maybe Inwood, is that closer to where you
Yes,
were?
yes, I had relatives in
Okay,
Inwood.
yeah. I remember hearing a rumor of Inwood being like strip club capital of the East or something like that. Does that sound familiar?
I wouldn't know. I just remember driving the back roads to go to my aunt's house.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I never took advantage of that either, but I
no,
just remember hearing about a rumor about Inwood having an inordinate amount of strip clubs.
yeah, I never heard of it till you told me. Uh, Cape on Bridge sounds familiar though. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do a quick search and see how far it was from where I was.
Yeah, it's really small out on Route 50. You just pass right through it, and then I think the next town is Augusta, and then the next bigger town is Romney.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I was very, very close. I was 41 minutes away.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Small
thought that
world.
looked familiar. Yeah, I had
Hmm.
maybe what, 700 people that lived in the town I lived in.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, the woods in your film were were the same woods I had in my reality, really. So it was just interesting to see that. And now that I moved to Alabama, yes, it's similar, but it's not the same. Yeah, you can tell kind of the woods is different because
Yeah.
West Virginia had a lot of jutting rocks out of the ground and things like that.
Uh-huh. Apparently the place I lived used to be like millions of years ago. It used to be underwater, so there are all sorts of weird rock formations and
There are.
fossils and
I remember
uh,
finding me and my sisters would find seashell fossils everywhere, and I was so confused because I was very young, and they had to tell me like, yeah, a long time ago there was water everywhere.
yeah, it's fascinating to think about. It
Another
is.
thing we would find everywhere is golf balls. I don't know why. I don't know if there was a golf course there or what.
Yeah, that I have no idea how that would happen.
What do you think was the weirdest thing you found where you lived?
The weirdest thing?
Yeah,
Shucks, I don't know. I mean, most of the weird stuff I planted, like
yeah,
the cat skull and the carving in the tree. I
What
guess I
does
would
that
need
mean?
more time to think about it. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was asking, what does the carving mean in the tree?
Oh, well, there's the cat head and then there's the bee above it,
Hmm.
and in that note that you see in the film next to the dead cat on the game camera, it says Bunny by Vandal. So
Oh,
the cat's name was Bunny, and so it's like it was just a, tribute to the kitty, by carving a bee in the oh, look who's here. She just won't leave me alone. She doesn't want to be
oh,
doesn't
she's
want to be
adorable.
yeah. My kitty, my pain in
Well,
the ass cat.
what's her
I'll open
name?
the window for you. This is a different cat than I had when filming Leaving DC. Obviously, that was a
Yeah,
long time. But yep, I'm her servant. Phoebe is this cat's name.
Bibi.
Phoebe,
That's
yeah.
cute. I have two cats.
You have two?
Yeah,
Yeah. And didn't you, in the film of yours that I saw, you have dogs as well, right? Or at least at your mom's house.
absolutely. Yeah, those are my mom's, which I'm in right now. My house is up there, and my internet sucks with this computer, and it does not work. That's why I'm at my mom's
Okay.
house right now. Yeah,
Okay, gotcha. Your
I,
mom was very game about participating in your film. I admire that.
absolutely. I'm probably gonna dress her up as a man in another film later on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
Very
mean,
good.
I have a thing where I want to work with other actors and actresses, but it's uncomfortable to make the call, like how you had to do and do a casting call and things like that.
Yeah,
I'd rather
it's
do
not easy. Yeah.
I'd rather do it with people I know, like just for example, like you, where we talked already, you know. I'd rather talk to them for a long period of time before I work with them.
Hmm.
It's very uncomfortable. However, some people I work with at my job, they said they might want to play a part or something like that. So there's that too.
Well, like when you make a film, you get all sorts of people who are enthusiastic about it and want to be part of it. It's exciting to them. So I'm sure
Absolutely.
you'll have no trouble recruiting people.
Yeah, you were one of the few people who responded after I sent my film out. A lot of people ghosted it because it wasn't the greatest film ever. But
A
I
lot
really
they ghosted it. Well, that's the way people are. I'm not saying everybody, but I sent Leaving DC, I think, to four different film festivals, and I never heard it probably would never have gotten viewed by anybody just for the one lucky break that I got. I sent it to maybe four film festivals. Three completely ignored me, and then out of nowhere, the Nevermore Film Festival in I think it's in Raleigh or so. Yeah, I think it's in Raleigh, North Carolina. This one judge like totally fell in love with it and picked it. And if he hadn't accepted it and they put it in that film festival and it got a little bit of attention, I'm convinced I just would have given up completely and never sent it to anyone ever again. So it was just pure chance that it even got through the door. So I know what you're saying when you say, people ghost your film. It's hard to get, everyone wants to be an artist, everyone wants to be a
mm,
writer and a filmmaker, and it's hard to separate the worthwhile stuff from there's so much out there.
absolutely that and see we have kind of oversaturation right now in horror, I believe, in film
Yeah.
and horror especially.
Yes.
And found footage is such a cheap, easy thing to make. I mean, easy, you could make one. Doesn't mean it's going to be good, and it's just oversaturating the market right now.
Yeah, it's fun. I subscribe to that Found TV. Did you ever see that channel, Found TV?
Yeah, I have I'm part of the creator crew, they call it, where I help
Oh,
promote their
okay.
stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, and it's fun. I had a subscription to that for a couple of months, and I really enjoyed seeing all the efforts of people out there.
Oh yeah,
A lot of them I'd start to watch, and I was like, this isn't going to hold my interest, and I would give up. But a few of them, I was pleasantly surprised by how entertaining they were.
absolutely.
I've written a couple of books, and the last book I wrote, I sent out to, you know, at least a dozen different publishers, and And everyone wants to be an author as well. And granted, it's a strange story, but it, I don't understand, and it deals with themes of suicide and others, kind of touchy issues. So
Yeah,
that's what I tell myself. Oh, no one wanted to touch a book that deals with suicide on the first few pages. But I never, yeah, I had to give up on that idea. I mean, no publisher seemed interested in it, so I understand.
I actually
It's hard
listened
to
to
get your foot in the door.
yeah, it is. I listened to the audiobook for the one book. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It was the horror novel that you wrote.
Oh, you listened to the audiobook of it? The Moving
Yes.
Soul, was it?
Yes, that's what it was.
Oh,
Yes, I
okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for listening.
absolutely. Yeah. I I'm trying to get more into your work because I you're a very creative person. I really like your work.
Well, thank you. I
And
mean, yeah, you're very creative yourself, and I really enjoyed that last short film you made. It brought a smile to my face when that TV character appeared on the screen,
yeah,
and it was and the way I know like people like you and me, we have limited resources in terms of who we can recruit for these sort of things. So when I saw you and like that makeup on the screen, and your response as the watcher was to say, oh my God, it looks just like me. Like I was like, well, that's one way to work around, that the fact that it's you having to play that character. I mean, how else can you address it except by saying, holy that looks just like me, It's fun.
the funny thing there's we'll talk about leaving DC again too. It just I love to get into this with filmmakers. So um the funny thing with that is the makeup I did on the character. It's kind of my what you can call emo makeup I would always do in high school and things like that anyway. So I was used to doing that. So
Okay.
I was like, what's something that's cheap I can do in one day? Because that film was pretty much done in one day, but I had to do a little bit the second day. So under 24 hours, I'd say. That was kind of like my challenge I put myself to.
Sure.
That's why I used ketchup for blood and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, let's do it all by myself. I do need another character. That's the Dr. Gorefest character. And I was like, but how can I use myself but it not be myself? So I'm like, let's deal with doppelgangers. That's a terrifying subject here.
Yeah. Yes, it's inherently creepy.
Yeah. Originally, I was going to have someone in the film I was watching, which was Revolt of the Zombies, actually, that when the character first went outside and looked around into the woods, that he came back and was scared, but instead of seeing himself, he was going to say he saw the character from the movie. And I thought
Hmm.
that would be terrifying, but I'm like, okay, but right now, since I'm doing all this crunch time, there's no way for me to be able to do that, edit the thing on the TV where it's talking to me and things like that. Which
Yeah.
I have another similar project I want to work on where a character from a movie is actually talking to me. Actually.
Hmm.
Actually see here, I'm a monster kid. That's mainly what I like. That's why I'm trying to incorporate that stuff into my film.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever got into those classic horror films.
I can't say I have. There's like I don't think I've ever watched the whole thing, but I certainly appreciate how creepy like Max Schreck was in Nosferatu.
Yes. That's one of
That
my
old
favorites.
German film. That's one of your favorites? What was
Mm-hmm.
that from like 1930 or something like that? Or
1922.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But for talk about being ahead of its time, I mean that was a horrifying character.
It really was. Yeah, we could go on a whole talk with that, but I anyway. One of my favorite memories with leaving DC was whenever your character was getting irritated with the ghost. And eventually the flute just kept playing. You know, he couldn't do anything about it. There I was just sitting in my little swivel chair as a teenager just watching this film. And your character just blurted out, "Keep playing, ugly." I lost it. I lost it. It was
Yeah, that's I think I wanted to say something insulting to kind of justify the sudden turn in hostility, when he runs outside. I mean, I'm not, saying it was any sort of brilliant solution or whatever, but yeah, I wanted to. I wanted to make it clear that that's why, any sort of calm friendship between those two might have ended as abruptly as it did. And the character was drunk too, which is the kind of thing you would say, you
And
know.
he's been rejected recently. He doesn't care about this ghost wanting to be accepted. I mean, he was just rejected himself.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's definitely
that's
something he would say.
you'd think
So
he might try to evolve and learn from it, but stop it. Stop. Jeez, she's so
she
spoiled.
she
God
needs to put
forbid
her
I should
input
not pay
in.
attention to her for 5 minutes.
I know it.
So hold on a second,
No, you're
okay?
fine.
Hold on. I'm sorry, I was talking to the cat. But
I didn't know you're good. You're good.
anyhow, yeah. So I've actually been thinking I'll bounce this idea off you. I was thinking of revising the ending to Leaving DC so it's not quite so abrupt,
Hmm.
because I think that's the number one complaint of most of the people who watch it, that it's too ambiguous and too abrupt. So I was thinking of extending it a little bit where he goes outside, it sets that security system that he just had installed, it sets the alarm off. Which is kind of something I neglected. Hey, he's got the security system, but he runs out the door and the alarm never goes off. So I was thinking of having the alarm go off, and then over that you hear him screaming and the shots, and then when the camera picks up and transitions, you actually see an infrared, like the camera in infrared on the other side of the window, like outside. Like I would mount the camera on a pole and have it on the second story, like floating away from the house as if it was levitating. And then a spotty, very quick journey through the woods with like, how when camera mics are exposed to wind, they have that overriding,
Yes.
noise where you can't hear anything. It's just obscured by wind noise. So you hear that for a few seconds, and then the camera's on the ground, and you see, I don't want to give it all away. I'm just bouncing ideas off you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you see, instead of the B on the tree, you see an M, for Mark, and
Oh,
you hear the sounds of decapitation off screen. Like that whatever has taken him is methodically hacking his head off, and it's about to be placed on that tree in the middle of nowhere. And then I was thinking maybe the flute sound would start again, but it would be a different tune for once, instead of that um, prelude to the afternoon of a faun that keeps playing. That's the one piece. So it'd be a different piece, and then you'd see this kind of shadowy figure. You wouldn't see it directly, but you just see this, peripherally, this shadow moving behind the camera, and then the camera shuts off, and that would be the new ending.
okay. No, it definitely sounds interesting. I actually saw another ending you did on Found TV's version.
Oh, Found TV's version is the version that's been in place for like the past 7 years. Originally, when I first did the movie, for like 1 year, the original ending was you just hear one gunshot outside, and
See,
then the movie ends.
yeah, that's the
But
version I knew.
yeah, you must have seen it right away then when it first came out. But back in like 2013 or 14, maybe something like that. But anyway, after like a year of that, I went and recorded Mark screaming and multiple gunshots, and just I didn't want to make it, even though I guess it could have worked to its advantage, where if there's one gunshot, you think, and no screams, maybe you think he saw something that drove him to kill himself, something so horrifying. If it's just one gunshot, it lends itself a lot more to that he took his own life. So I wanted to make it more obvious that he saw something horrifying through the screaming and the multiple gunshots. But still, most of the feedback I get on the film, at least from the people who are unsatisfied with it, they feel the ending's too abrupt and ambiguous. So I'm trying to further define it with these other ideas.
So I see what you're saying, and I like the new ending version. It's interesting. However, I I love the way it is, and I more so don't want to see I don't want to see more of that. I want to see another film on the same thing. Like this is where this man went missing. This is the house. You know, exploring more of the mystery of whatever was the ghost or something like that.
Hmm. Like a
Because
follow-up.
yes, also at
Hmm.
the same time though, technically Mark Klein died or didn't die. I mean, it's not shown that he's dead. Maybe he's
Hmm.
still there somehow. And
Right.
this was something I was thinking about that I knew it wasn't your intention. I was just like it's interesting how that's all put together. My first film, Tale of the Fae, obviously dealt with the Fae folk, and something they do is they play music in the woods, or they're said to. And it kind of made me think a little bit. I'm like, what if it wasn't a ghost this whole time? Which now I believe differently. I was just thinking, what if it wasn't a ghost though, but it was like a fairy? And eventually he was driven so crazy that he thinks there's some weird thing outside. He goes outside, he sees something, and it's so terrifying, he starts trying to shoot at it, but it doesn't kill it. And instead it
Hmm.
takes him to another realm, like fairyland or something, ferried him
Hmm.
away. And that was something I was like, interesting.
Yeah. It would be a challenge to pull that off, in
Absolutely.
term, yeah, in terms of like how are you going to demonstrate that he's taken to this new realm and what's the realm look like? And that's where independent filmmakers like us are, meet real challenges because we have limited resources.
It, So that's something I was thinking about because I was like, even though maybe Tale of the Fae had never got maybe the audience I wanted to have, it's still something I'm pretty proud of, even though it's not the best. And I was like, I'm interested just for my own sake of making a sequel of him
Mhm.
being in this fairy realm because to me the ending is he's ferried away, and it's okay, it's open to interpretation.
Hmm.
I'm not sure how you interpreted it, but it's like I wanted to have something where he wakes up in this fairy realm. He just killed the gnome thing that was trying to attack him when it sent him there. And there's like a quick shot of some like body on the ground dressed in the gnome outfit or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's in this little cabin. And I know exactly where to film it at 'cause there's a place around here that's like that. And I'm like, in a way, that kind of reminds me of a fairyland where it's this weird, just cabin in the middle of nowhere. It's actually a historical cabin that anyone can go in. There's a little plaque there and everything out in the woods. And I'm like, what if I do this to make it look like a fairyland? Eventually, there's some fairy queen that he meets in this wooded area, and I'd have to have more characters than, just me and my mother and things like
Right.
that. So
Yeah.
I thought about that too. I know where to film it. I don't know everything to put in the film other than, the dead body, the fairy queen, all those things like that.
Yeah. You've got your work cut out for you.
Yeah. But no, I'd love to see anything more Leaving DC or anything from you, even if it's just a revised ending to Leaving DC. I'd love to see it either way.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I don't want to disappoint people who did like the ambiguity of the ending, but at the same time, I think, when I think of making the film, if I could go back, I wish I had. It's not like I'm responding to the critics. It's something I genuinely wish I had fleshed out a little bit originally. So
It's for
that's
you,
that's
it's
my
for the fans.
motivation. What's that?
I was saying it's for you, it's for the fans.
Yeah, it's for me exactly. And so, if I wouldn't be eager to revise the ending if I was just trying to placate the naysayers. That's not why I'm doing it. I feel like it is kind of missing something and I'd like to resolve it. We'll see. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to touch up the Mona Lisa or something. It's not like I am at risk of destroying a masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? So it all, what's the worst that can happen? I'll just continue to play with it and try to make it as best as I can, and we'll see what happens. I hope to have an updated version, by the end of this year.
Okay, cool. Well, if there's anything I can do to help you with it, I will be more than happy to. If
Thank
there's
you.
anything you need help with.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
If there
Um,
were any other questions you had, this is a podcast that you do regularly? Is this something that?
it is something I'm trying to start regularly. Absolutely, yeah. And then I have a little
So
channel for it too. on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I subscribe to your your Valley, was it Valley of Macabre? Is that
Yes.
the so I subscribed to that and I looked, I hadn't seen any podcasts on it yet,
No,
but I
not
guess
yet.
that's okay.
I
Who
did.
else are you talking to?
So I actually did one with Thomas Hamilton. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
Mm-mm. I don't know the
He,
name.
yeah, he made a documentary for Boris Karloff, an award-winning documentary. It's called Boris
Nice.
Karloff, The Man Behind the Monster. And me and
Yeah.
him were talking about an actor from the 30s, 40s, 50s, Todd Slaughter.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know about him, but he's very melodramatic and he's a great Britain's lost horror star, really.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the name, but I would look forward to seeing that discussion.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be coming out. I will send you a link.
Cool.
I don't know how much you want to talk about this, and if you don't want to, it's okay because I know you're not proud of it. The Caretaker though, I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
That's a sentence I don't hear very often. I really enjoyed The Caretaker.
I did.
No, it's all good. It's I never started out thinking it was going to be a worldwide sensation or anything like that. It's not, it wasn't a total disaster. It just didn't turn out as well as I wanted it to. And I think, if I learned any lesson when it comes to that, it's recognize your limitations and know that you can't handle all the camera and all the lighting and all the sound and want to be the lead character and be the director. It's too overwhelming and it's you can't if it with leaving DC it was just me and a camera and that was easy. But with the caretaker I had so many other people involved and it was still my own cameras and boom mics and every little detail. I think probably a third into it, I was just tired of the project and I knew I had bitten off more than I could chew. And I just didn't want to disappoint all the people who had already participated in it. So I kind of forged ahead and finished it out of a sense of obligation rather than having fun. And it probably shows. Like with leaving DC, I had fun with it from start to finish. And I think that that kind of enthusiasm reflects in your project. And with the caretaker, even though a lot of it was fun, it felt more like a chore for most of it. And that's why I think the end result isn't as entertaining as it could be, you know. But thank you for saying you enjoyed it.
Yeah, because I'm actually very much a fan of TV horror films, made for TV horror films, and it really just
Yeah.
felt like that. It felt like maybe something like 90s or early 2000s made for TV horror, where a director was just told to make this for some money and he got it done, and that's what came out. It has that charm to it, and
Yeah,
I
I
really like
agree.
that.
Well, thanks.
Yeah,
I think I haven't watched it in a long time, but the last time I did, it occurred to me that if you kind of take it as a kind of like a more of a comedy than horror, then it works better. It's certainly not something to take seriously. Uh, yeah, so the last time I saw it, I had a lot more fun with it, thinking, don't try to think of this as a legitimate horror film. Just think of it as more of kind of a goofy comedy where you
yeah,
get to laugh at the character, the hapless character. What was his name? Jeff Butler, I think his name
yes,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and it's the same kind of dynamic where he's got this unrequited affection for this girl, the bartender there, and she wants nothing to do with him, and it's fun. I don't know why, but it's just fun for me to play these characters where they're chasing after this girl and have no clue that it's hopeless. It's kind of fun.
It's just we all have our interests in things, and that's just something you really enjoy playing, and I think you do a really good job at it. I mean, you came
Thanks.
across in that film such a terrible, terrible person, and that's exactly that's who you're trying to play. I mean, he's a terrible person. There's no way about it.
He's all about himself, that's for
Yes,
sure.
and he's
Yeah.
selfish.
He's selfish and he doesn't care if he has to hurt some rich old lady to better himself. Uh, it's fun.
Uh,
It's fun to pretend.
It
You know,
is.
you understand that. You're making your own films, and
Yeah.
it's fun to play a character always.
And your mother in it did such a great job too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was tired of my direction and my, multiple takes and all that. It just
I know it.
I
Same
don't
with
think
my
it did
mother. I
anything
know.
to help our relationship. But she was a good sport about it. But I think like me, by the end of it, we were both just like, oh God, when is this when's this damn project going to be done? But
It's
yeah,
like I
I'm glad
was
it's done. If nothing else, it'll be something for my mom and I to laugh at in the years ahead.
oh
It'll
yeah,
be so. But thanks for watching that.
of course.
I can send you if you were since you were kind enough to listen to my last, the book, The Moving Soul. I
Hmm.
just last year I wrote another book called I Abandon This Life, and I can send you I don't know if you have Audible
Yes.
or if you do. I can send you a link that'll give you the book for free if you'd like.
Yeah, please do. I would love to listen to it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You think the guy in The Caretaker was selfish? This guy's pretty selfish too in this book.
okay. It's like you're really on that character arc through the whole of your career in these books and films, it sounds like. And I really like that. That's like your staple, that's your thing.
Thanks. As you know, it you kind of have to steel yourself for the next project.
Hmm.
Take a deep breath and say, "Oh, am I gonna have the energy and the wherewithal to sustain and to be able to sustain it through this next project?" And I'm kind of in between that right now. I'm like, "Oh, what am I gonna do next?" Um, you know, I'm waiting to be struck with some great idea. So far, the last book, I Abandoned This Life, was such an arduous project that I'm just kind of taking a breather right now, but it's more fun to be in the middle of a project, I think, just because it's no fun being idle,
It's
not having
not
anything to work on. Yeah.
it's not being fun idle. It's not fun. It's fun being in the middle, but it's not fun whenever you how do I put it? Are very broke and have a very bad laptop, bad editing software
Yeah.
and everything. My laptop is from 2012 and it's a workhorse and I love it, but it's not great.
And that's what you do your editing on?
Yes, and this laptop is not meant for video editing. It's meant for light office work.
Yeah, especially, I mean, the video editing software now, it's probably barely even compatible with a laptop that old, I'm thinking.
It's not. That's why I use
Uh-huh.
Shotcut. And Shotcut is good. It's not great.
Mhm.
I don't know if you ever experienced or played around with Shotcut.
I haven't. I'm lucky enough, my day job, they give me the Adobe Creative Suite as part of my day job. So
That's amazing.
I was jealous of that man cave you had in that film, the garage.
Oh, that's my father's. Completely
Okay.
my father's. Yeah, I was in that film, I was trying to portray like a man who likes to tinker on things, he takes what he can and he builds up stuff, but at the same time, he's crybaby. And I guess that's kind of my characters I like to play are crybabies.
Uh-huh.
People are in too over their head and don't know what to do.
Sure. Yeah, that is fun. Yep.
So when you were saying with your books and stuff, when I wrote a book and released it, what, in 2020, I guess. It was a years long project. I started working on it in high school and never finished it until adulthood, really. But I put it on Amazon self-publishing. I maybe made $13 from it. No one's really read it.
Yeah, that's I feel your pain. I think my book has when it first released, people friends and family, they all get excited about it and you get a flurry of reviews and then it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah,
Like,
and it
how
just
am I
sits
gonna
there
get
now.
this out? Uh,
I my dream is to work with a book publisher really, but I've sent my book to other publishers like, hey, it never really got any attention. Maybe I could re-release it. This is my book, blah blah blah. I got maybe like a few responses from vanity publishers which wanted me to pay so much. I just want to do it traditionally though. I don't want to have to pay to get my book published. I'd rather them just give me an advance or something.
Yeah, I would not work with any place that wanted you to pay them to publish it. I wouldn't do it.
No.
Yeah. Mhm.
So that's the
Good
struggle I
mindset.
have. It made me not want to write anymore, which I have some books I have in my notes that I just never finished because I'm like, if I don't have a publisher to work with, I don't really feel like making something and
Hmm.
going out to no one. And with my films, I'm gonna continue making films, but I'm not doing them as fast as I have been because I'd rather work with other people. Like you were saying, you had a struggle with caretaker, right? I'd rather work with other people.
Hmm.
Find a troop or something he wanted to work on a project.
Sure.
So,
You ever see that it's called American Movie?
American movie, no.
You might enjoy it. It's about I think it came out in 99. It's about an amateur filmmaker who has this he's from Green Bay, Wisconsin, I think, if I
Okay.
recall correctly. But he's kind of a goofy guy, but he's got this whole troop of enthusiastic friends who want to be in his film. And it's real. It's a documentary made by an outside team about him and his friends. And he makes these movies, and as you'll see, they're not exactly strong. They're not great pieces of work,
But it's a
but
movie.
his enthusiasm is just undying, and unflappable. And he's so focused on getting it done. He involves his family. He recruits his mom. He recruits his drug-addled friends. He's an alcoholic himself. I mean, the guy's a train wreck, but I think you would really enjoy it as a filmmaker yourself, just
Yeah.
because anyone who's made a film can appreciate how difficult it is. He's actually filming on like 16 millimeter too. It's not even digital. And
Wow.
he makes this horror movie, and he ends up having to beg his rich uncle for for money to help him. It's called American Movie. I really think you'd like it.
Yeah, that sounds like something I'd like. I've been trying to get into narrative filmmaking. I like found footage, but I want to get into the narrative.
Hmm.
But you need a bunch of actors for that. It seems like you need a bunch of people to handle the equipment. You need the equipment. I only have like a little camcorder. I have two camcorders. That's it.
Yeah, it's tough. Tough to get that momentum, certainly.
Yes. I mean, found
Hmm.
footage narrative, I'm fine making anything. It's just gotta find the right people to work with, things like that. But
Hmm.
how did you go about finding all the people in caretaker? They were just acting, you said. They didn't help with the equipment.
Yeah, there was this local guy who worked for what do you call it? Like the local TV channel with it's what is it called? Where it's like, the Wayne's World type thing, where it's not even cable, it's some sort of local
Like local
TV.
channels. I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Because
Yeah, it's like a local, it was called Peg TV in Rutland, and this guy worked there, and he certainly was capable when it came to setting up microphones and lights and cameras and everything. So I hired him for a few of the more complicated scenes, like the scenes in the bar, where I was talking with Katie Ricks and everything. And so I hired that guy to do that. I think I hired him for the cemetery scene where my mom and I are walking through the cemetery talking about like how old she was and how she has this husband that it was like 200 years ago and all that
yeah,
sort of thing. So he was there, and I think he was there also for the scene where Kenny Ricks, that other actor, came and was like trying to convince the Aunt Ruth character. He was like trying to make sure that I wasn't that my character wasn't trying to swindle her. I don't know if you how well you remember that scene, but yeah. So
Yeah.
I had this guy. What was his name? Kirk Sonapak. His name was. He's in the credits. Nice guy, but he helped me out a lot during those more complex scenes, like helping me set up the microphones and the lighting and watching the cameras and all that sort of thing. Other than those scenes, I tried to do everything myself, like all those scenes where I'm at the dinner table with my mom and we're trading conversations, that is completely what? That is completely behave yourself.
Oh,
What a pain. Anyway, that is those scenes were completely me sitting at one end of the table with a camera, reading every line by myself, and then afterward setting up the camera and having my mom read line after line after line, and then just me splicing them together and editing to make it look like we were having the conversation. So stuff like that.
yep.
And the woman in that movie was also, I really liked her as an actress as well. She's a dedicated actress who was in New York and then she moved out to Los Angeles and apparently has been in some stuff like I don't know what it's called, like that 911 show, like on,
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
it's like she's getting bit parts here and there. And bless her, I was grateful that she was able to take part in my movie, but she was living in New York at the time. And I actually emailed Karen Crichton, who played Claire in Leaving DC, and said, "Hey, do you know anyone who would be a suitable actress for this film I'm working on now?" Karen from Leaving DC actually helped set me up with the woman who was the bartender and the caretaker.
That's
And
awesome.
then um, Lindsay Davis, that's her name. So Lindsay had another friend in New York City who played her ex-husband, that guy Kenny, who came and played um, that scene at the dinner table with me and my mom. I think his greatest value in the film was we had a lot of recording sessions where I just held a sound recorder up to him and said, "Please read this line. This is going to be our phone conversation or phone conversation." So he would read, and I helped guide him through exactly what I wanted from that, and then I chopped up the audio files and I had them playing on my phone as recorded wave files on my phone, and I got a little Bluetooth control button that paused and played. And in those scenes, you can see I'm holding the phone and you can barely see. If you look with the other hand, I'm holding that Bluetooth button in my other hand, curled, and I'm just pausing it after he says something. So that recording, so I can say my own line and then I unpause it. So his line plays. So that's the way I did those phone calls.
I love the little subplot of him wanting his bagels.
With his the bagels.
Yes.
Oh, from Leaving DC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that was fun. And Cynthia, my coworker who played the spirit, she also plays that voice in the background who's laughing when she says, "I don't care, what kind of bagels you want," that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's funny. She said she lives out in Sacramento, California, and she actually
Okay.
said someone who had seen Leaving DC saw Cynthia E. Jones in the credits and was like, "Is that you?" Like, so totally out of the blue, one of her friends recognized her from that movie, which is very cool. I've never
Yeah.
had anyone recognize me. I don't get out much, granted, but yeah, I've never had anyone say, "Hey, weren't you leaving DC?" No, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah. That and see, whenever you make art and stuff and it becomes really popular, it's awesome to have a lot of audience who likes it, but yeah, it would be hard to go around life with everyone knowing you.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, I don't have to worry about
You know,
that. That's fine.
have you ever thought about physical media, like with leaving DC, like on DVD or Blu-ray or anything like that?
Not really, just because from my perspective, it feels like Blu-ray and DVD are kind of being phased out just because streaming is so ubiquitous. So I just don't, I've never really felt there was much of a demand for it, and I don't know how I just distribute it
Uh,
anyway.
there are
Yeah.
a lot of I see what you're saying, but there's a lot of people who still collect physical media, me included. But yeah, there's a bunch of forums for it, there's YouTube channels for it, there's podcasts for it. There is a lot of people who do like physical media, and I've even talked to a few people who would love to see your film come out on that.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I sometimes I think it would be fun to do like a maybe it would be too self-indulgent on my part. I don't know. But it would be fun to do a voiceover on Leaving DC
I would love to
where
see that. Yeah.
yeah, where like I explain the different scenes and stuff like that. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. That would be great. That and see, that could be a reason for someone to pick up the DVD or the Blu-ray or whatever, you know?
Right. Right. Yeah, director's commentary or something like that.
I
So,
do, well, if you're ever interested in that, I do have an email for one person who has a physical media company if you ever want to do that.
okay, thanks. The
Yeah.
distribution. Okay.
hmm Um,
I'll probably see if I can get this alternate ending the way I want, and then I'll probably, then I'll think about options like that.
oh yeah, then that see that could be all great bonus stuff there too. The original film. See, you
Oh,
have so
right.
many different versions. You have the original, the
Yeah.
after you said the one that's been for 7 years, then the new one, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah. No, that's a legitimate idea, definitely.
Oh yeah. Have you thought about re-releasing the Caretaker, putting it out anywhere else, or just keep it where it is?
I think if I recall correctly, I put it up on Amazon Prime and it was rejected. I don't know if it was rejected or it lasted a couple of months and then they took it off because no one was watching it. Uh,
Wow.
I don't know how Amazon makes its decisions, but Leaving DC has thrived on it, whereas The Caretaker died a quick death on it. So I don't know how they made that distinction. I can only guess that it wasn't generating any revenue for them, so they axed it.
Yeah, to make room for other films.
Mhm.
Have you heard of Film Hub?
Film Low
No, Film Hub.
Hub,
Yeah.
haven't. No.
Basically what that is you put your film on Film Hub, just like you were to do with Amazon or whatever like that. And you basically release it with them, and then they'll take your film and give it to all the the platforms, to Tubi, to Amazon,
Oh. Hmm.
anything. Hulu, Netflix, if it was like a, prestigious film. But basically, they don't reject any films unless the quality of it is not great. Like my film Tale of the Fae, that one got rejected because it had audio issues, which yeah, I know that wasn't good. So, but the Caretaker, I don't see any problems with it why they would reject it. As long as you have all the artwork for it and everything like that, if you want to release it on there, yeah,
Hmm.
I don't see why they wouldn't
Okay.
accept it.
I'll check it out. Film Hub.
Have you thought about making any other films?
Well, after The Caretaker and how arduous it was,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I'd ever undertake again, I think, is something simple like Leaving DC. And I haven't had any great ideas.
Yeah.
I've vaguely tossed around a notion that maybe the Mark Klein character from Leaving DC was alive, and whatever he went through drove him nuts, and he was now in like a convalescent home for the insane. And maybe this nurse is tending to him who just thinks he's this crazy guy, but you can see from his perspective that whatever was haunting him before is still, tormenting him in some way. And that's really the only germ of an idea I have. And I don't know. I live, I have no access to the original house from leaving DC anymore. So it would have to be in a new setting, and I don't know how I'd approach it. But
Yeah.
that's about as far as I've taken it, just a simple idea like that.
But any film, based on Leaving DC in general, I think would do very well because there's a lot of fans of Leaving DC.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's inspiring, certainly, to think about, but at the same time, you think, okay, well, it's been what, 13 years since I finished leaving DC, like,
Yeah.
and do I really have the energy and the wherewithal to undertake another project like that? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'd really have to psych myself up for it,
Oh
get
yeah.
enthusiastic about it. Sure.
Now with Leaving DC, I listened to a prior podcast or talk you did with someone, and you actually found the cat skull you said on the road.
Oh yeah, that was I have a soft spot for cats, as you can probably tell,
Yeah.
and so I had this was in July in West Virginia, and I had a motorcycle. It was a Suzuki SV 650. I don't know if you know that bike, but
No, but I know. I think I can think of what it looks like.
yeah, it's like a V-twin sport bike, and
Yeah.
I would, when I would drive around I would see occasional dead cats, and I knew from the script that I needed a cat skull and I needed a dead cat. So I was traveling around on that motorcycle with a heavy duty garbage bag on into the back seat, in the receptacle in the back seat, knowing that the next cat I came upon, I was going to have to take off the side of the road. So I remember, yeah, it was this blazing hot day in July, and I was going down. I think I was coming back from Augusta back to Cape and Bridge, and I saw this poor black and white cat dead on the side of the road, this big cat, and I was like, oh shit, I guess I have to do this. So I got off the bike and went over to it, and it was so unbelievably rank. And you don't expect stuff like this when you have these visions in mind. You don't expect the nitty-gritty horror of what you're gonna have to deal with. I inverted the garbage bag and picked it up, and there was a carpet of maggots underneath it.
Mm,
Just this, like in the outline of this cat was this carpet of maggots. And it's like I had to disassociate myself from what I was doing, because if I thought about it, I was either going to get sick or just to reject the idea completely. So I folded the bag over it and I bungeed it onto the back of the motorcycle, and I rode home. And as soon as so I put it in the woods across from my house. Poor kitty. I hope, it takes comfort somewhere in knowing it was immortalized in this film. But I took the game camera photos that you see in the film of the dead cat with the note. I think I put a blank piece of paper on it, and then I photoshopped the typing in afterward. And then God bless it, I took a machete and I lopped its head off, and then I buried the head in the ground for like 3 weeks. And when I dug it up, that skull was clean as can be, like
yeah.
perfect. There was no flesh on it at all. I don't even think I had to do anything to it. So that skull that I put up on the tree was the actual, head of the cat that was in the photo as well. So God bless it. I left its body out in the woods, and I think within an hour there were turkey vultures just had descended on it and just tore it up, and it was gone in like a day. Um, yeah. So that's the story of the poor kitty in the film.
Yeah. It's sad, but like you said, it's immortalized.
Yeah, yeah, it's in my head, I thought it was just going to be some clean, fresh dead cat on the side of the road.
Yeah.
But it was half rotten already by the time I found it. Poor thing, poor thing. But it certainly served its purpose. And then after I was done with the film, I kept the skull and I put it on a big boulder in my backyard, just sitting on the top of the boulder. So every time I looked out the back window, I could see it there. And within a couple of days, it was gone. I don't know. I
Hmm.
don't think it was a person, but I think maybe it still had some residual smell on it, but some animal just came and took it. Strange.
See, I remember my dad would go deer hunting a lot. And whenever we were done with the carcass, we would go put it in the woods because, it's just gonna like life cycle. It's gonna take care of
Yeah.
it. And, going in that woods, I would always find deer parts like the deer skull and things like that with all the flesh
Hmm.
off of them. But nothing ever happened to them when they were sitting there. I would always just, play with them, put it there like decoration or something out in the woods when I was playing. But yeah, that's interesting. It just disappeared.
It is. I almost suspected a person because it was just kind of a neat artifact, and I would think a person would have more interest in it than an animal. Like any sort of scavenger wasn't going to get anything from it. So I really don't know what happened to it.
I could definitely see an edgy teen, going in the woods and finding that and think it's cool and
Mm.
take it or something like that.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So
But, yeah.
you said by Vandal on the note. Who is Vandal?
Okay, so there's a little bit of a weird backstory to that. So I remember when I was a kid, I was like 10 years old, and my parents had a book of trivia called the Book of Lists. Um, they were really popular in like the 70s, these books. It was called the Book of Lists. They had three different editions, and I had the first one. And it was just interesting lists of just trivia, strange, minutiae stories that are true. And one of the lists was interesting cases of animal hoarders. So there was a story, and I was just like 10 years old, and I remember this story actually scared me because it was so weird. There was this mentally ill woman who, when animal control went into her house, she had something like 150 cats in this small house that she had, and a lot
Oh,
of them were already dead.
I can only
And
imagine.
she had stacked the dead ones, put them in shoe boxes, and like stacked them against the wall. She was obviously completely insane. But they said one of the notes on the shoe boxes was this crazy lady writing on the shoebox, "Bunny by Vandal, most beautiful tart, killed her." And that's exactly what I put on that note in
Whoa.
the in leaving DC, because when I was a kid, the sheer inexplicable nuttiness of it really scared me. Like trying to figure out what was going through that crazy lady's mind, what would make her write something like that. So I guess since it unnerved me as a kid, I thought it would be unsettling if I put it in that note on the cat. So that's where that came from.
No, it's perfect because imagine if it was just saying Vandal's cat Bunny. She ate a
Yeah.
tart and she died. I don't know, something
Yeah.
like that. No, it's perfect the way it's written. Because you can only imagine, maybe this lady was thinking in her head, I don't know who Vandal is. I don't know. Maybe her husband who died, it was his cat. And then she made a tart that she called beautiful and it ate it and died. I don't know.
Yeah, if I had to guess, and this probably has no basis in reality, but if I had to guess, I think maybe the woman was saying this cat was Bunny. It was born to another cat from another cat named Vandal. Bunny by Vandal, most beautiful tart. So like maybe in her mind, the cat was some sort of, saucy temptress and then killed her. I don't even want to try to interpret. But yeah, it's so weird and nutty that it does. It serves the movie because it just because people can interpret all sorts of things from it.
No, and
Really
like you were
good.
saying, hearing
My
the
most
noises.
beautiful tart.
Yeah.
Most beautiful tart. I'm gonna kill her.
Oh my God.
No.
Leaving
All
DC
right.
Part 2.
Yeah. She's just a pain. She's not used to being ignored. She's used to having my full attention.
That's another interesting point there. Maybe I know it's probably not going to happen, but a sequel to Leaving DC where Mark Klein is obsessed with cats because of the cat the film. I
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
even have to act. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yo,
could just
no,
live my normal life.
really.
There's all sorts of good ideas out there, definitely.
I have
Maybe I'll feel motivated and try again, do something else.
no. I definitely want you to. I think you're way too creative not to. But also at the same time, I completely understand burnout because that's kind of where I am. I'm like, if I'm gonna make a film, I'd rather work with someone and
Yeah.
develop it with someone. It's just easier. That's why I've
Hmm.
been saying if you ever need help with something, I'd love to help you. You know?
Well, thank you. Nice to
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I I have this idea where I'm probably going to dress up my mother as a man, like I said, where I have an affinity for pirates. I have ever since Pirates of the Caribbean came out. I mean, it came out in
Uh-huh.
2003. I was born 2002, so I grew up with it. So I was like, it would be very interesting, the Tennessee River around where I live. Imagine if, there's just some story where we're just gonna say this river connects to the ocean somewhere. We're just gonna kind of imagine that. And let's
Yeah.
say that there's a pirate who went through the river to store his buried treasure somewhere along the coast or something like that. And basically, this whole film is this man obsessed with finding that treasure, this legend that only some people believe. And it's a darker legend than he really believes, and it comes out that maybe these pirates are undead. Something
Hmm.
similar like that.
Like The Watchmen, you know that story? Watchmen?
No, no, I don't. What is that?
That's a movie directed by Zack Snyder. If you ever get a chance to watch it, but there's a subplot. It's based on a graphic novel, but there's a subplot where this guy gets kind of recruited onto a ship with a bunch of undead pirates.
Oh,
So
I'm
if you
watching
like
that.
it, yeah, I think you'd really like it.
I'm
If you
watching
like
that.
comics and graphic novels, um, just make sure you watch the full uncut version because there's a shorter version where they cut all that pirate subplot out of it.
What?
So you want the full version that's I think it's literally like 3 hours and 10 minutes long, but it's a great movie. One of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah, no, I have to watch that. See, I've heard the name The Watchmen, but never watched it. So okay, now I have a reason to watch it. Definitely.
Yeah, it's the movie that I think they made a series out of it too, but you want the what do they call it? The, director's, yeah, you want the director's cut of The Watchmen.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
great. I'm a big fan of Blair Witch, by the way. I think it's a really
It
good
it is it is a good one. I have it on Blu-ray, but I want to get on VHS too because I guess more authentic.
mhm.
And
Sure.
what's the other one that's come to my mind? I heard you say because with the other talk you were having with someone else, you like The Witch.
Love it.
Yeah, that's a great one too. I got that one on Blu-ray. Your film is actually what got me into slow burns. So whenever I came around to The Witch, I was already
Mhm.
ready for it.
Yeah, Robert Eggers, that director, he's really good. He's one of my favorite current
Yeah.
directors. I also really liked The Lighthouse.
Okay. Yeah. I've seen that one too.
Yeah.
I really like maritime culture, things like that. I think it's
Hmm.
really
Sure.
interesting.
Hmm.
It kind of stems from my pirate thing anyway. I think stories around water, the coast, open water, they're eerie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great setting.
I know you said you probably haven't seen too many classic horror. Have you seen Night Tide though from the 60s?
What's it called? Night Tie?
Night Tide.
I have not. I hadn't heard of it.
There's some Roger Corman ties in with that one. No, that one's really good. If you want to watch something where it's an eerie kind of coastal story about a woman who believes she's a mermaid.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound interesting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I really like that one too.
1960, you said?
Yes. I don't know what year, so it's in the 60s. I know that.
Okay,
Yeah. 61,
cool.
62 probably.
Hmm.
Um,
I'll check it out. Absolutely.
oh yeah. There's a lot of things we both need to check out,
Mhm.
like the Watchmen and stuff like that. Is there any film that inspired you with leaving DC other than Blair Witch?
Uh, well, Blair Witch Far and Above was the most influential film, obviously.
Yeah.
I think probably my favorite movie of all time is called The King of Comedy by Scorsese. De Niro is the lead character.
Okay. King Comedy. I haven't seen that. It's another one I need to see then.
I think that's from 1982 or one. But De Niro plays this overeager, clueless, socially inept guy, and I think I, borrowed some of that for leaving DC.
Oh
Where
yeah.
he's so falsely confident, in himself and has no idea how he's viewed by others. And so, just I'm certainly not comparing my performance to De Niro's because that's probably one of my favorite acting performances ever in that movie. He's
Yeah.
he's, he's fantastic. But yeah, I guess I borrowed a few character traits from the King of Comedy.
But yeah, I need to check it out then, see if I see any similarities because I definitely had many inspirations, which your film was definitely one of them. And there's another one, Be My Cat. Then so many I can't
Yeah,
even think
I've
of.
seen Be My Cat.
Oh, you have? Do you like that one?
It's not my kind of movie because it's just I don't like to see people, physically tortured for
Yeah.
prolonged periods of time.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of movie I would seek out. But having said that, I think the lead actor in that was just phenomenal. Uh, I think that's one of the best acting performances I've ever seen in a footage movie. So I give him major props. And I think he's very talented. It's just not the kind of film that I gravitate toward.
The funny thing with that is it's not a film I would gravitate towards either. However, it's just such a good film. And I actually this is how I really found it. I really like Romanian culture and stuff like that. And
Uh-huh.
ever since Bram Stoker's Dracula, I'm like, well, let's actually get into the realness of it, which, it's not so much vampires and things like that. Um, so I got more into Romanian culture. I'm like, I wonder if Romania ever made any horror films. Let me look up Romanian horror films. Be My Cat popped up. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this one. I was
Yeah.
disappointed with it was not paranormal or monster or anything like that. That's mainly things I'm gravitated towards. Like you said, I don't really want to see people tortured. It's not really my
Uh-huh.
thing. But I watched it anyway, and I'm like, this is actually really good. His performance is really good. His directing is really good. He's a filmmaker. And I actually supported his new film that would be coming out. It's called We Put the World to Sleep.
But yeah, I've seen he actually friended me on Facebook, that
Really?
direct nice guy. And I absolutely admire his talent. But I saw he had made some references to that new film, yeah. And
Yeah.
and I would look forward to seeing what else he comes up with, definitely.
Yeah, same here. If it wasn't for your film being my favorite found footage, his film probably would have been. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, of course. I think yours is like the golden standard other than Blair Witch Project of how to make one. I mean, it's very subtle and everything. It's very believable.
Well, thanks. I try to avoid unrealistic dialogue. I think that's the killer in a lot of films.
Yep. That's why I try to just improvise it, but that doesn't always flow the way it should either. So you wrote all your dialogue, right?
Yeah.
That is it's probably the best way to do it, but it's very strenuous. That's why I just go in head first.
Uh-huh. Sure, yeah. The script for Leaving DC was very, very close to what actually came out. There was like no improvisation or anything like that. Yeah.
So your kind of method of acting is do you read your script many times to remember your lines and you try to get into the character, or are you just constantly living in the character throughout your whole day even before filming?
No, it's just, I mean, lucky for me, I'm not hugely different from that character. So
Yeah.
I didn't have to like do a, magical transformation or anything like that. But I'd read the scene again and again and again until I knew pretty much verbatim what I wanted to say. And then I would just start the camera and just do it. And within two or three scenes, typically I had it the way I wanted.
Yeah. I was doing a lot of first takes with mine. I take multiple takes, but
Mhm.
I've heard someone else say before, I think it was actually Adrian Sofe, the filmmaker of Be My Cat, the first take's more authentic. But that's
Yeah.
also whenever you're improvising as well.
Hmm.
I've heard other actors actually say, after the first take, I'm not going to be any good. Actually, interesting enough.
Hmm.
It's acting is hard to do. It's something you need to learn the talent for.
Well, not everyone can do it. Absolutely. Including people who are very enthusiastic about it, who think they can be great actors. A lot of times it just doesn't work that way. But yeah, which is not to say there are, there are lots and lots and lots and lots of passable actors out there. And then there's a small percentage of really good ones. And then there's a whole lot of people who simply can't act at all.
I'll openly say it. There's many famous actors who can't act. They're no good, but they are getting the big roles and they're getting the money, but I don't think they can act. I don't
There's
know
a lot of
how they get there.
mediocrity out there, no doubt about it. There's a lot of people who are more lucky than talented.
Absolutely. That's
And
another
I don't,
good way to put
yeah,
it.
I don't mean to sound bitter saying that, but it just, it's the way it is. That's the truth. I mean, and you know how Hollywood is with nepotism and everything. And it's like, more often than not, the most recent face to emerge onto the screen is connected in some way to someone who's already broken into the industry, that type thing.
No.
That's just the
And
way it works.
you can't escape those spaces for many years to come until they get way older to where they don't fit the roles they normally do.
Right.
I mean,
Right. Oh well.
yeah, eventually, hopefully that'll change. But, that's another reason why I prefer my classic horror films where, yeah, there's a lot of faces I recognize in those, but, they're not always in film today because they're not no longer alive. So
Sure. Like I don't know about the Blair Witch actors. I don't know if they ever went on to do anything else.
I'm not sure, but I don't recognize them in anything I'll say.
Yep. Same here.
Yeah. Is there anything in your film that you want to point out that maybe someone might miss over?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I'm just trying to go through it. Yeah, just there's so many, every scene that I watch from Leaving DC, I have, some sort of anecdote about, oh yeah, I remember how this came out and how this worked and that sort of thing. I guess yeah, I mean, I could share one little weird bit of information. The last scene that the actress and I did together for Leaving DC, that was the one where she was getting into bed
Hmm.
and I was annoying her no end. And I knew that she was ready to wrap up the scene and leave. So I felt a little bit of pressure. I felt responsible for like getting it perfect before she left. and
Absolutely.
I kept screwing up my delivery. Um, which is I can't remember the lines exactly, but it was something to the effect of, well, here's Claire getting ready for bed and she's leaving the window open because she wants to hear whatever's been harassing me, ha ha, blah blah. And so it was that kind of, and I think I was overeager and I was feeling the pressure because I knew she wanted to get on and get out of there. So I kept screwing up the lines. And so finally I excused her. I never told her this. But I mean, I didn't excuse her. I excused myself and I never told her this. I went into my kitchen and I did a shot of vodka to calm myself down a little bit. And then I went back and did it right away and I had no problem with it. But yeah, that's just a random bit of information from it. I felt I wasn't being natural enough and I was too uptight to do the scene. So I did a shot of vodka and it saved the day.
See, I almost think Mark Klein is the perfect character in a way in his little world. Uh, I like Mark Klein. I'm not gonna lie, I like him. I have sympathy for him. I do think he's a bit of a butt, but no, I like him. I can relate to him in some way.
Well, sure. Ideally, I would want people to be able to relate to him in some way. He's hapless and he's kind of pathetic in a way because he's so overeager and doesn't realize how his own desperation is driving people away.
Yeah,
And I think, we've all been there at one time or another. I know I have. And so, I think it's something ideally all people can relate to.
and
You
he's
know?
also he picks up the camera. I mean, obviously he's not making a movie or anything like that, but he just picks up a camera and he's just more natural. He's like, "Well, guys, I finally made it out of leaving, or I'm sorry, out of Washington D.C. and I'm excited for it. This is my place." And he's honest. I mean, he's excited about where he is, but I never think to where he takes it too far to where he's trying to rub it in someone's face. I think he more so wants to incorporate his friends, but he also has this other personality that pushes people away.
Sure, sure. And yeah, another little aside. If
Hmm.
you remember when he first arrives at the house and it's like 1 in the morning and he starts
Yeah.
yelling, he's like, "Yeah, I did it!" Woo!
Favorite part.
Um,
One of favorite parts anyway.
is it, I wasn't as isolated as the movie leads me to believe. And I had a neighbor who I came to like quite a bit named Bill Jenks, but he was only probably 100 yards away down the hill. And it was late at night and I didn't want to wake him up. So I recorded all those whoops and hollers and screams. The next day, I hiked into the woods and recorded them on my recorder. And then I just, added them into the scene as an audio, an extra audio file. And if you notice, I added a little bit of echo to make it sound like
Yeah,
it was, when he screamed, you can hear the echo in the scene, but it's not natural echo. It's post-production echo,
I'll be
to make it
honest.
sound like he's out in the middle of, truly out in the middle of nowhere.
I really thought that was all just recorded then and there. It sounds
Yeah, yeah, well, that's what's
for
neat
anyone who
about it.
watches it, it just, it's there.
It's try to be seamless. Yep.
I
Hmm.
have a similar story with my last film, Hyper Projection. But let me be right back. I want to show you something and turn on the light. I'm disappearing. Okay. So similar story with the screaming. That's in rear projection when I'm outside or my character's outside and he's kind of yelling. He's not really yelling, but he kind of is. That's because my parents were right over there and they were asleep and it was probably like 3 in the morning when I was doing all that stuff of my grandmother. But she can be a bit of a, a prude, or she gets
Goes to bed
aggravated.
early, I'm guessing. Mhm.
Yeah. Um, I was still recording and it was like day now. Day. I mean, there's no denying it was like light outside. And I went to open the door whenever I saw her letting my parents' dogs out because I guess they left somewhere. And yeah, they were gone for the weekend. That's what it was. And she saw me and she was like, have you been in there all night? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I was recording this. And she was like, your father will be hearing about this. And I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
oh, okay. And then I texted my mom, I'm like, hey, just so you know, she's gonna be mad. I was in here all night. She's like, yeah, I mean, your dad don't care. It's whatever. So,
I'm glad it
yeah,
worked out without
uh,
any trauma.
yeah. I was I was honking the horns, the car and everything, and I was like, I know they're gonna say something, but if I don't get this shot now, it's not gonna happen. So, I just had to do what I had to do. I woke up my grandfather. He called me saying, are you outside or is that someone else? I was like, no, it's me. It's like, yeah, you shine the headlights straight into our house. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that.
I
So,
remember that scene in the like in the man cave where there's a car right outside. Is that the one you're referring to? That scene?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried so hard to make it look like, someone else drove it up. But when you're doing it all
Mhm.
by yourself, I mean, there's cuts there. It's kind of hard
Yeah.
to make it perfect.
Hmm.
But I don't know if you remember this. It was just a little bit in my first film where he
I
was in the room.
doesn't immediately come to mind. Yeah.
He was in the room just recording, and this was the little fairy statue that was over there.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, my mother painted that actually, and I used it in there because I thought it was in true with the film. And whenever the camera fell at the end of the film, this is what I used actually to put my phone in because I was not going to drop
Yeah.
my actual camera. So I put rocks in there and I taped them down so the weight would go down. And
Yeah.
I taped my phone up there. So there's the hole. So
I see.
basically, I was in the woods holding this thing and then I dropped it. And even though I've tested it so many times and it was perfect and it would fall straight down without the camera flipping over or anything like that, lo and behold, it flipped over, and I had to do another
Oh.
shot, and the shot wasn't the good shot to see like the little head tilt behind the tree. So I basically had to cut two pieces together of the box falling, and I think
Hmm.
it looks pretty good. It looks like it's all one shot, but yeah, I had to do two shots for that. It was supposed to be one shot.
Yeah, I don't remember anything awkward about it, so it must have worked.
Yeah, I was pretty proud of that part, but I there's a lot of things I wish I could have done different, like you said.
I
But
understand. You always think back and oh, I could have done this and I should have done this and yeah.
absolutely. But at the time when I was finishing up that film and everything, I mean, I saw glaring problems here and there, but I was so done with it because it was like you said, it's so strenuous, just doing everything yourself.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I just gotta get this thing out. It was stuck in my computer, this computer right here for freaking days because I had no storage on it or anything like that. I have a USB plugged in this now. I just had to clear everything for this recording. So yeah, you gotta make ends meet and you gotta do what you gotta do.
Mhm.
I saw you put boxes in the back of your car and leaving DC. I guess you staged that for the film.
Right on. Yep. Just bunch of empty boxes in the car.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought about doing something similar with boxes. I call it the package movie right now. I never really filmed anything with it, but two friends are just sending packages to each other and the packages start to seem stranger and stranger.
Hmm.
And his friend actually has some dark plans. Because like you were saying, think about simple plots. That's something simple I was thinking about doing. I'm trying to keep things more simple than
Yes.
have this whole fairy realm, like I said, which would be fun to do still. Is there anything else in your film, like you said, that someone might pass over?
Well, I mean, one of the things that comes to mind is like when I was in the woods and I had to hear the strange footsteps coming from somewhere else, and it took me forever to get that sound. Like the recording of a foot stepping onto like a stick in the woods didn't sound authentic to me. So it's like I had to overdo it. I had to like really stomp on stuff to make it even sound like something was happening. That's just one thing I vaguely remember is it being really difficult to get a realistic sound of like footsteps in the woods, even though it was easy enough to record, it just didn't translate well to the film.
I learned
Uh,
that in film class in high school, actually. So many, like, I think, what is it, the ones, I think a zipper, if you want to do a zipper sound, actually recording
uh-huh.
the zipper sound sounds awful. You have to do
Huh.
something else. I don't remember what it
Yeah.
is, but
Yeah.
they just don't record right. And there's a lot of
Mhm.
different things you have to do to make it sound right. So I completely understand that. But when I was watching the film for the first time, I got really excited because I was like, there has to be a Bigfoot in this film because it sounded really heavy. And I was like, this is a Bigfoot film because I love the description of the film. It doesn't tell you what it is. It's very ambiguous. You don't know what it is till it happens.
Do you see Willow Creek?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Bigfoot, so I thought maybe you would like it if you hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I didn't like it the first time I saw it, then I watched it again years later
Mhm.
and I liked it. But I have to say my favorite found footage for Bigfoot is the Lost Coast tapes, if you've seen that one.
The Lost Coast tapes?
Yes.
I haven't seen it. Yeah. Oh,
I think it's
okay.
2012 as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
that one's pretty good. It's probably in my opinion, the best Bigfoot found footage that's come to date. But why do I keep missing this one thing? That's what it was. The gunshots in it, and you shooting the gun. Was that your first time or have you had a gun?
No, I bought that gun in 2004, and even though I tried to pretend to be completely amateur with it, I know it very well. And if you're curious, it's a Heckler and Koch compact USP 40 caliber.
Okay.
And there's actually a giveaway that I'm fairly experienced with that gun in the film that when I watched the movie, I'm like, I wish I hadn't done that. But as soon as the gun, I don't know, you probably, you're from Alabama and West Virginia, you probably know guns pretty well. But this handgun, which is a semi-automatic handgun, has a decocker on it. You know what that
Hmm.
is, right? It's like when the hammer's back, you just flip a lever and it safely lowers the hammer so you don't have to worry about it. Firing as soon as it's not as easy to fire anymore. It's just the safe thing to do. As soon as when you're done firing, you hit the decocker so the hammer lowers. But here I am. I'm supposed to be this complete novice with it who's never fired a gun before. And as soon as I'm done with that shot, you can hear my thumb just instinctively hits that decocker to lower the hammer again, which is, the proper thing to do. And I'm like, oh, Mark never would have done that. So
Yeah.
every time I hear that click of the decocker, I'm like, oh, that was a mistake on my part. But, you know,
Interestingly enough, though, it definitely it shows that you're experienced, but in a way, when I was watching it, it makes it look like this man he didn't say, but he went to a firing range before this. He really talked to the person when he was buying this gun. He wanted to make sure he did everything perfect because
mhm.
he's never done it before. He was scared of firearms. I mean, that's kind of what it came across to me, where he was like he trained himself before doing it. And he
Uh-huh.
he he watched millions of YouTube videos on how to shoot a gun before he did it for the first time.
Well, he was a nerd and he read the instruction manual. And I had
Absolutely.
that was in the script. It was in the script where he tries to fire and it's still on safety. He's like, oh yeah, yeah, safety, safety. I mean, that was all planned and everything like that.
He does. You're right. He does come across as a nerd character. He's
Well, I'm
he's
a
very by the
nerd.
books. Oh, we all
I'm
are.
definitely, yeah. I mean, yeah. Anyone who's a filmmaker is a nerd as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
That's why I got very giddy whenever you said a feature commentary. I would love for you to say every little thing. Oh, this is the part where I stopped to go use the bathroom real quick. And everything, you
That
know.
would be fun. That would be, I think, more fun and more realistic for me to do than a whole other film. So maybe I'll do director's commentary for Leaving DC first.
You know what? And even I mean, if you do that, you do the feature commentary. It might make you more motivated to do more films.
Couldn't hurt.
Like you
Because
said, I
right
mean,
now, the idea of starting another movie doesn't seem very appealing to me.
no,
I'd rather write another book, I think.
yeah.
Well said.
I'd love to start writing books again, but like I said, if there's no home for it, I'm not gonna do it.
I hear you. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough to put that much effort into something with in all realism, it's not going to go anywhere. It's
hmm
tough.
That's why I had this planned TV series I was gonna do where basically I go in the history of classic horror because like I said, that's my favorite stuff right there. And I was talking to a TV station here and there. Eventually, they were interested, but saying they were probably gonna get a budget cut, so it probably wouldn't happen. This was just like, local channels. And never got a response after a while, so I kind of figured, okay, that dried up. They don't want it. Let me message this other history platform channel. They might be interested. Never heard back, so I'm like, okay, we'll hold off on that right now till someone's interested.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, I know another network that might actually want it more.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's the thing with my financial problems right now. I need something that will be able to give me some income. It'd be hard to make something and then you just don't make anything from it, which is the sad part.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I'm fortunate enough to have a day job because I sure wouldn't be able to support myself on my creative endeavors.
Absolutely. That's whenever I try to make it appear like I was in the woods for hours, and tailed the Fae. And I don't know if you even saw I had some dirt on my face. That's basically from work. I just was at work. I went home and started recording because I work a night shift job. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep all this dirt on and just change my clothes when I get home and then just go straight off into the woods. And I was yelling up a storm in there. I know and complained at least.
Hmm.
So I do live around a fairly amount of people, but it all turned out well.
Yeah, I thought it was a good effort, and
Yeah,
yeah.
I appreciate it. Like I said, you were one of the few who responded back to it.
Well,
But
I appreciate anyone who follows through in making a movie. I understand how hard it is.
oh yeah, yeah. But film is there. We can make it whenever we want to make it when we have an idea, anything like that.
Hmm.
Now, any other questions before I let you go? I don't want to make you be on here for too long. This is the part where I forget everything I want to ask you until after this.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Nothing coming to mind, but you said everything you wanted to about the film too, I assume.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else to add, but I like your idea of a director's commentary. Maybe I'll start thinking about that.
Absolutely, and I hope you do. And I'm gonna keep throwing it out there. I mean, if you ever want to make another film or anything, and you need some help, I'll definitely help you out, whichever way I can. You even just want an actor, like I said, I'll put in my vacation time and go find a hotel up there or something.
Well, thank you, Wyatt. Good to
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. Uh, I do want to ask who did your I think it was CGI work in The Caretaker.
Yeah,
Some
there was
visual
only
effects.
one CGI scene at the very end.
hmm
That room full of cages,
Yeah.
and I think I hired some guy off Fiverr. But he was like an Adobe After Effects guru.
Yeah.
And I just described the scene to him. I think I found the background image, and then I described the scene to him, and I said, "And can you just have the central cage animate, with the door opening?" And then I added the squeak myself, and that's he did a great job. Um, and that was the only CGI scene in there. Yeah,
No,
I
I
can't remember
definitely.
his name. I could probably look it up and send you his info if it's someone you'd want to recruit for your own work.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to do something like that. I mean, there's a lot of projects I have that are kind of very ambitious that, it would need some stuff like that.
Right.
It's like, I mean, I have an idea of bringing Bela Lugosi back from the dead in a film. I don't know how good that's gonna work out.
That would be tough.
Yeah. Favorite actor though. I show everyone this. That's my tattoo for him. My tribute to
Oh,
him.
what, can you lift it up again? You
Yeah,
can't
of
see it. I
course.
couldn't see it.
Says
I,
Lugosi.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
It's in
Oh,
a
so
little bat symbol.
you must have seen Ed Wood then, right?
Yep, I've seen that one.
Yeah,
I'm an Ed Wood fan myself too, actually. Just him as a director.
sure. Well, who was it? Martin Landau was great in that role as
Yeah,
Bela Lugosi.
he was. I can't think of anyone else who would have done a better job, really.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
that was very funny. Not very accurate, but very funny anyway.
Yeah, it was funny, very funny when he was like rolling in the mud puddle with that octopus.
Absolutely. Where
Uh-huh.
Boris Karloff doesn't deserve to smell his crap.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He was like this temperamental. Was he from Romania? Lugosi? He was?
He
Yeah.
was technically, but technically not. He is Hungarian, but
Oh, Hungarian.
his
Okay.
hometown Blue is it? It's either I think yeah, his hometown was Lugos. That's where he got his name Lugosi because he ended up changing his
Okay.
name. It was Bela something Blasco. But
Okay.
he gave himself a stage name. So
Interesting.
Lugos is now Lugo, Romania. That's why I said kind of. If he
Okay.
was born today, it would have been Romania, but back then it was Hungary.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Now, any favorite lines you have from Caretaker leaving DC?
Probably not caretaker, but leaving DC, my favorite scene in the movie is the one where he trains the camera on himself and tells off Claire.
Hmm.
Where it just goes into that self-righteous rant
That's my favorite.
because it's your favorite.
I see it. I say it's my favorite. I have so many favorite scenes. That's definitely one of them. Keep playing ugly, where you're screaming and you're excited, telling off Claire. Whenever you're even driving up in the beginning too.
But when he's telling off Claire, like that self-righteous smirk that he has on his face the whole time, it was just so much fun to do. Like
Absolutely.
I think we've all wanted, like if we've ever been rejected, we've wanted to deliver some sort of speech like that,
Oh
but
yeah.
dignity and common sense prevents us from doing something like that. So it was just fun to kind of let loose and throw dignity to the wind and make an ass of myself and just
Because that's
and
exactly what
deliver
he's
that.
doing.
Yeah, yes, and I almost feel sorry for the character to act like that and make such a fool of himself. But whenever I watch it, I can't help but laugh because it was so much fun to do, and it's just fun to watch the character go so crazy. Um, if you do ever watch The King of Comedy, that
Hmm.
1982 De Niro film, you'll see where I borrowed inspiration from that character because he's the same smug, self-righteous SOB as that character.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, the beginning of Tale of the Fae, where it's kind of a documentary-ish, just came to my mind now. What gave me the idea to do that is probably a documentary you haven't heard of, but it's a paranormal documentary on Bachelor's Grove Cemetery.
I hadn't heard of it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I mean, it's not the best quality, but it is on YouTube. I mean, I'll send you a link to that too if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I need to. We need to remember all these links. There's a lot of links going through
Yeah,
here.
I'll send you links and I think I made a mistake. The movie that I was referring to is just called Watchmen, not The Watchmen, but
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure you'll be able to find it easily enough. And I'll also send you a free link to my book on Audible, the latest one.
Yeah, and yeah, I'd love to talk about some of your books too if you're interested later on sometime.
Sure thing.
Yeah, it'd be
Sure
awesome.
thing.
I want to get your work out there to other people too, because like I said, you're very creative.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Did you I know you actually made a documentary called The Flying Yes Flying. I don't remember what year that was.
Yeah, I took up hang gliding in the year 2000. I was pursuing it when I was living in DC. And every weekend I would drive down to the Richmond area in this little town called Mankin, Manquin.
Hmm.
And they had a hang gliding facility there. So I did it religiously, like every weekend for 5 years. And after the first year there, I was like, oh my God, this is like an exciting secret I cannot keep to myself. Like this whole facility, the whole operation, everything about it was so thrilling to me and so interesting that I decided to make a documentary about it. And then I ended up doing more research on the original people, and a lot of them were still in Australia, so I did like phone interviews with them and used photos and stuff. But yeah, to answer your question, it came out in 2003. It actually won the Virginia Independent Film Festival that year. It's
Okay,
the
awesome.
production values are unimpressive. I'll be the first to admit that. It's not like you'll tell it's not a high-end, ultra professional quality film, but it was a labor of genuine love, and I think my enthusiasm for it shows in the film. So that's on YouTube. It's in its entirety for free if you ever want to watch it.
Yeah, I have to get that one to watch too. Is there any other films you did prior to that or after and before leaving DC or
No, the Flying is Flying was the first one I did, and then leaving DC, and then Caretaker was such a chore that that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back to trying to write books because trying to do everything yourself as a filmmaker is just unrealistic. So
you don't need all the budget for a book. It's there. It's just your mind and you're writing it down.
yeah, yeah. Or if I do another film, it's gonna be bare bones, like Leaving DC was, definitely.
That's something I've been wanting to do, like I said, just a bare bones kind of film.
Hmm.
I want to do more ambitious as well, but bare bones just to give myself a little break, just to do
Yeah.
something that's thought provoking or
Mhm.
scary, but like Leaving DC is, it's very subtle in its nature until it ramps up.
Definitely. Yep.
I would have to say though, even in Leaving DC, I never felt like it overstayed its welcome. I feel like it's un understayed its welcome. I wanted to see so much more. I was sad to see it end, but that's just because when I love something, I just want to see so much more of it, you know?
Well, that's a very nice compliment. Thank you.
Yeah,
Maybe if I extend the ending by a minute or two, maybe it'll be more satisfying to people. We'll give it a try.
yeah. And feature commentary, I think, would also give so much people insight into the film.
Sure. I wish there were more people like you who were that eager to hear more about the film. I mean,
I do,
it's
I do.
still it's still definitely an under the radar film.
See, I'm someone who prefers under the radar, and I'll be honest, big films that people mention, what's something? I don't know. I'll just say something random. Baywatch, which is a big film that was basically, based off the Baywatch TV series with Dwayne The Rock Johnson in it. I've never seen it. I don't know if it was popular or not, but it was very marketed. I saw commercials for it everywhere. I haven't seen it. I don't watch big films like that.
Yeah, I think it's to your credit that you've never seen it, and I've never seen it either, and I have no intention of ever seeing it.
No, I I don't I don't normally care for big. I like big productions. I'm not gonna say I don't, but I don't care for big films usually. It's always
Mhm.
the small obscure films I like. Even my classic horror films. Yes, there's big budget films I love. I mean, Frankenstein, big budget, or a bigger
Mhm.
budget than most others. But I prefer usually the Poverty Row horror, which were only maybe like $100,000, $90,000 or less, a lot
Yep.
less sometimes. Uh, you just saw them doing what they had to do and they got it out. And a lot of people like them, but there's a lot of people who don't. I'm the person who will say Revolt of the Zombies is one of my favorite from the 30s, and no one likes that film. So
Hmm.
that's the film I used in rear projection.
I didn't know that zombie films went back that far.
Yeah, the cannibalistic zombies, or I guess just flesh-eating zombies, was really from uh why George Romero. Yeah, I don't know why his mind was
Night of the
not
Living Dead.
yeah. Yeah, George Romero did the first flesh-eating zombies, I'd say, but there were some, borderline kind of things like that because the zombie films back then were more so voodoo, but there's one called King of the Zombies where they mention in passing the zombies wanting to eat flesh, but they never
Okay.
actually
Ah,
show it. So, there's some interesting things like that. But yeah, zombie films were ever since White Zombie in 1931 or 19, I'm sorry, 1932. I don't know if you've
huh.
seen that one with Bela Lugosi in it.
Haven't. Yeah.
That's a
Hmm.
great one too. I'm kind of envious of you for not watching all of these. I wish I could rewatch them all for the first time.
I understand. Yeah, those
Yeah,
hidden gems out there.
yeah.
Um,
If there was one film, I know you said your favorite film, but if there's one film that you really like that you wish you could watch for the first time, what film do you think that would be?
oh boy. I don't know, maybe like Goodfellas, something like that from
Okay,
Scorsese, because I just know it so well, and it holds no new excitement for me because I know it so well, and it's such a well done film. I'd love to be able to watch it for the first time. Sure, something like that.
okay. Do you rewatch films you like usually, or you just you like a film but you don't really watch it?
I rewatch a lot of stuff. Yeah, I watch movies again and again and again until I've like extracted every single thing I can out of them.
That's what I do. I
Hmm.
rewatch films so many times, including yours, many, many, many times.
Hmm.
And I don't know if this is getting into too much personal, but I noticed in your film that you have a cut on your lip. I don't know what that is from. I'm just a little interested.
Oh, a dog bit me when I was 2 years old.
Okay. When you were two?
Yeah,
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah, dumb mutt. But
Yeah.
I guess
Well,
that's
that's what
why I like
happened
cats
here.
so much. Hmm.
Yeah. Um, it's funny. It was actually my mom's dog who bit me, but me and him are completely fine now. It's I had my arms around his neck, holding him, trying to cuddle him, like, oh, he's so cute. Yeah, don't do that to a dog. Yeah,
And
he just felt
how old
threatened.
is that dog now?
He's still fairly young. I'd have to say maybe
Okay.
or 4, something like that. But he's not too old.
Okay. Well, he's got a lot of years left in him still.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're on good terms again. I
Oh,
guess.
absolutely. Of
Thank you for having me on your podcast.
course, you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, and have a great rest of your night.
You too, Josh. Thank you.
Bye bye.